expedite the construction process such that it doesn't drag out for a year and a half?
It's a phased project that TxDOT has their specific, for lack of a better word, mechanics of how it's going to be done. And then it's weather related as well, Charles. So
my understanding is there were more than one phasing plans presented to the board until it started to be coming. And this phasing plan was chosen over the other ones for the most benefit to most people. I think that I believe airborne was a big consideration in that. But I wasn't in on any of that. All occurred, I think, around November, December of last year.
any other comments?
Last item for me, terminal renovation funding. Jim and I went to Austin 2 weeks ago. Met with our planner, Daniel Benson, and we were fortunate to have Dave Fulton come to the meeting. Dave is a little less formal than his staff. He just kind of shoots from the hip and decides which projects he likes and which ones he doesn't. And basically, what he said is this: that we won't have this in writing until after tomorrow. They're going to meet internally. But basically, he said he likes the notion of improving the building that we have, particularly because using ramp funds, we can start now. And at whatever point we have enough money saved, or the cities have more money to spare to match, then we can complete the project using the terminal program. They'll put us in the plan for 2012. But once it's in the plan, we can slip it year after year until it gets to a point that it's financially feasible for the cities to complete it in one final step. And until that time, he's agreeable to letting us just start whittling away at it with our ramp monies while we're getting new facilities adhered to. We don't have that in writing yet. Again, we should get that after the meeting tomorrow. Do you have any comments on it?
No, I think going down there, the chances, we were going down and Andy was going to make a presentation. It was more of placing a wish in front of the board and getting permission. And we left feeling much more confident that they would take a look and consider what you were asking for. So I think it was a good trip.
I expected a no. So that'll leave us with, between now and next month, actually the new ramp year begins with TxDOT today, right? But the new city year doesn't begin until the 1st of next month. So basically, between now and next month, we're going to put together some costs for various phases of what we could do during the next fiscal year. Just to throw out a few things for you to consider, we could buy the architectural plans, which would use up our rent budget for the whole year, and we wouldn't be able to do anything with them other than to say we have the plans to move forward. We could do any number of the things that we know will be included in the plans using local planning and the design services and oversight of the cities. But I think we should give some thought to do our first step, making an impact on the usability of the airport and the terminal during the runway construction. I've talked with the FTO, and I think their consensus would be that if it's possible to complete the cafe during next fiscal year, that possibly would provide the most benefit to all the users of the airport. Would possibly provide them with additional income during the reduced fuel sales of the runway. And in general would make it more likely that people doing touch and goes would stop and do business with us over the next year or two while our operations are reduced. So I'm going to start trying to put together some numbers of what the options are, and at the next meeting, I'll ask you to consider what our options are. Probably would like the FBO to give their input on the subject, and anybody else that's concerned with 2010 rent projects, what their opinions are.
Would the FBO be finding the tenant for the cafe?
Well, I think
Is that part of what you would provide, services you provide as FBO?
I think it's their space. They would have the option of finding a tenant or operating the business.
And in our business model, but I think we'd probably initially try to grow it to the point that it could fund itself and, pay to bring somebody in. I think initially try to bring somebody in until it gains a little reputation until it gets started. There's a good chance that person would go under and be gone before we ever got it going. Basically, we were talking about, what can we do during this interim period to help the revenue stream for the entire airport? And pretty much, if that cafe wasn't in Lancaster, it would really be a ghost town. The business Lancaster gets is usually between 11 and 2 o'clock. And I think you have construction workers out there, we've got enough people already employed on the airport that it's a pretty good little base to get it started and get it going. And then obviously we're in the business of aircraft maintenance and fuel sales, but I think you want to be at a point where you can say, here's a running business, come in and run it and make it better.
That's the end of my report, unless there's questions for me.
Okay, any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience regarding the airport manager's report?
Just 2 questions. One, Andy, will there be an area during the construction that we can continue to service the military helicopters at, where we can have grounding rods and be free of debris and rocks and such, particularly the U.S. Army and Royal Singapore Air Force Chinooks?
We need to go over the phasing plans together, but just off the top of my head, I think that at least 4 of the 6 plans, there's no activity whatsoever in where you're currently doing it. There might be 2 of the phases, like when they're overlaying that taxiway, that you might have to do it somewhere else. But putting grounding rods in the ground is not.
That big space south of Airborne
Yeah,
paint shop.
Right behind Airborne paint.
Yeah, there's plenty of space there.
We got plenty of flat spots that are close to pavement.
If there's any way we can do that, I'd like to see us continue
Oh,
to.
by the way, we got a new Chinook yesterday?
Yes.
Day before, from another operation that came in, and they were extremely pleased with what we had to offer.
Just give them a hot dog.
Huh? We've had hot dogs, and they said, we're going back and talk to our commanding officer. They called Ken about 3 hours after they left and got all the information. I think we're going to get their business.
That's cool. When do they typically come in? I think it's time for a little 11-year-old boy. that
Absolutely.
comes to
It's
check
usually
those out.
between the hours of 11 and 2, and it depends on what missions they're flying, but they always seem to show up around lunchtime.
These guys did say that they don't have fuel available on Monday, so they're pretty much indicated that they'd make us a Monday stop. So that would.
So it might be interesting to organize something that we do on a regular basis on Mondays that we support you on. Think outside the box a little bit on that. I'd like to see us supporting.
This whole crew had just come back from Iraq about 4 months, I think they said. So we, of course, thank them for their service.
Where were they stationed here?
They're over at the same place the Singapore guys are, over the other side of Meacham over there.
Old Carp was.
Yeah, the old Carswell Air Force Base.
Okay, anything else?
I have one other question relating to that. I'm sorry. During the interim of this construction, there was talk early in, we would put down tie downs for additional aircraft because we hopefully will be utilizing that taxiway for an interim runway over in the grass to the north maybe of the self-serve area, back away from there. we had talked about that. I don't know whether it got included or any more thought has been given to that for overflow tie down. Right now, we don't have a whole lot, but if somebody comes in and there's a storm coming, we don't have hangar space, we certainly will need a place to secure the aircraft.
I'll talk to KSA about
That
it.
may have been before he came.
It may have been, I
Yeah.
can't remember, because I remember we discussed it, but I don't know whether it was included in the plans or anything.
Which makes me think we probably need to have, at one of our board meetings, an opportunity